As of 6 o'clock this morning, we in Iceland have experienced another volcanic eruption, and it is happening in terms of damage much faster than some of the other eruptions. And so I'm going to give an update about what's going on, places that are impacted, as well as give some overview regarding maps so you can see what area this is happening in and how that is in comparison to the rest of Iceland, because I know many of you are curious about what's going on and how it impacts the rest of the country, and also because news sources in other places such as the US and anywhere else outside of Iceland often sensationalizes what's happening here to the point where it makes it seem like all of Iceland is under lava, and that is not the case. However, there is definitely damage that's being done, so I'm just gonna jump into what we're dealing with today. So this image is from RÚV, and if you want to be checking out like a live blog, I highly recommend checking out RÚV because they're doing a great job of keeping up with what's going on. So this is the area in which we are seeing the eruption. So the red along here are the fissures, and then you have, as you're moving over towards this yellow, all of this yellow that is circled around is actually where the walls were built to protect the Blue Lagoon and Svartsengi power station. And as you can see, the black here, all of that black, including what's gone over the road this way, it's harder to do like this, so over the road, over there, is lava. So that lava that has flowed over a road, the road that you normally take to get to the Blue Lagoon if you have been to the Blue Lagoon before. But what is most concerning, because as you can see, it's flowing adjacent to the Blue Lagoon, is that there's a blue line. So this blue line over here, I'll with my fingers, you can see that, is where the water, the hot water is. And this is where the problem is coming from in terms of hot water is not just to the Blue Lagoon and to Grindavik, which is nearby, but to the whole peninsula, the whole Reykjanes Peninsula where the airport is. And as of right now, due to reports that are coming out, hot water at the airport is not functioning, which means when it comes to keeping the airport warm. However, and I do want to say however, because this is really important, flights are not impacted. People are asking all the time if they should cancel, their flights are canceled. No, flights are not impacted. Of course, you can always go to the airport website and check that, but just as an FYI, that is not currently the case. But if you were landing today, it's gonna be a lot colder in the Keflavik airport because of the fact that hot water has been shut off, and to the rest of the peninsula. But I'm gonna go into more maps to kind of show you more regarding the peninsula, and like I mentioned, the rest of Iceland and where all of this is happening in comparison. Just to pan out for a second, this is all of Iceland. This is the whole island. The red area here is where the Reykjanes Peninsula is. That is not where the whole volcanic eruption is, but I just want to show you that in comparison to the rest of the country, because I know that Iceland, of course, on the map and everything looks so small that it's possible like for a volcanic eruption to cover it all, but that is not what is happening at all. So it's only on a small part of this red area where we are actually having a volcanic eruption. So the whole peninsula encompasses different towns, and those towns are not all impacted in terms of lava flowing over them. In fact, Grindavik, which 3 weeks ago or so, there was an eruption that happened in which lava flowed and burned down 3 homes. That town is actually not in any danger at the moment, or anyone is, foreseeing in terms of more homes being burned. So that's just to give you an idea. And this is the closest town to where everything is going on. It's over by the Blue Lagoon specifically and Svartsengi power station. But as I'd mentioned in that other image, they have been protected or being protected as much as they can by this wall that was built. It's the hot water pipes that are the problem. This is the area here that is the Reykjanes Peninsula. So the Blue Lagoon's there, the airport, and the actual volcanic eruption that's currently happening. And this is Grindavik, the town that I'd mentioned, where the houses had burned. But you can see there's Hafnir there, Njarðvík, Keflavik, Garður up here, Keflavik area, all along this part is where we have the airport, but also the town is across the road too. And from Grindavik, so there's a road, literally Grindavik's road, translated from Icelandic, that goes towards the Blue Lagoon and then out to take you to Reykjavik, if or wherever else part of the country that you want to go. And so yeah, it's just happening in a very small area so far. I will of course come back and let you know if there's much more happening, because the lava that started flowing this morning, when it happened, there was the idea that maybe it'd be some hours before the hot water would be shut off, but now it's to the point where it's actually already happening. And they're saying that it will take at least a day and there's already been construction going on to try and lay a pipe from a different area in the pipeline, in essence, for the hot water for the residents of the rest of the peninsula. So all of these other people are now impacted by the fact that there's no hot water, which is a lot of people, it's a lot of homes, and it's very cold, and we use hot water to heat our homes. So it's just not a good situation to have pipes that could freeze, especially if they have water in them. So that's very much a big concern, is to get that repaired as soon as possible. And my hat's off to all the people who are working out there around the clock trying to make sure that the hot water is getting to people. And then there's also the possibility of power lines being an issue, but right now it's the hot water is like the number one thing. So I hope this provides some perspective about what is currently going on, and also the fact that in terms of eruptions, now we've had 4 eruptions in this area in the last 3 months, which is incredible, and there's a prediction of many more happening. However, a lot of these eruptions have only been going on for like a day or so, usually not a really long time, thankfully. It's hard to say how long this particular one will go on, but the fact that it's a possibility is something, in terms of more eruptions in the future, is a little bit daunting, because infrastructure-wise, things can be clearly damaged, and also when it comes to homes or whatever else. But people who visit Iceland are not in danger. The airport is not in danger. There is no fear about that. And like I mentioned, all the other parts of Iceland are not impacted. So I do understand the concern. People like myself and everybody else, especially those who are directly being impacted by what's going on, are extremely grateful for all those who are sending good thoughts, prayers, whatever it is that you want to send. It can be a little bit daunting waking up and knowing that you're going to not have hot water for that day. However, like I mentioned, people are working around the clock with solutions to be able to fix this. It's just more about a matter of time. I will come back with any other updates as things progress. Hopefully they don't progress much more into actual more damage, but all we can do is keep our fingers crossed and keep our eyes on what's happening. If you want to keep up with the live blog, I do recommend Ruv's live blog, and I will have that down in the description for you to check out.